Yesterday was the coldest February day on record. In the last 24 hours, in Perth, we've received 101 millimetres of rain, and it's expected to be a similar amount tomorrow. So I've got this new camera. It's called the DJI Omni, made by the people who make drones. Look, it's a pretty good camera. It's got a holder for your phone. This is the lens, and it's got a viewfinder where you can see what the camera can see, 4K camera, and external microphone here. So there's I don't know if you can see that, there's a little joystick here, so you can get the camera to go wherever you want, and then you can have it in normal mode where it comes around here and you can see forward, or you can have it, click it 3 times and have it in selfie mode, and then you can record yourself. It's new, and I wanted to try to get some new ideas and have something that's a bit more portable. It's a great camera. It's got some great capabilities. The Steadicam is amazing, so you can go like this and it doesn't work. I'm still getting used to it. And there you go. So you can go like this, and you can go like this, and you can go like that, and it's supposed to keep it steady. So let's look at the difference between the two. So this is the HD 1080 Logitech, pretty good camera, uses up a massive amount of bandwidth. This is the DJI Osmo, recording in 4K. It's got some positives and negatives. Look, I'm just going to try to use each of them wherever appropriate. We'll see how we go. I read a great article today about Atlassian, one of the Rockefeller Habits users, and what was the secret to their success. It boiled down to spending less money on marketing and more money on building a great product that people will talk about. So effectively, don't try and spend more money marketing your product. Build a better product from the outset. Spend more on R&D, making sure that you've got a great product or service that people would really love and would talk about, and then take it out. There are so many people who spend ridiculous amounts of money on marketing when you're trying to tell people how great your awful product is. What you've got to do is have a great product that people want to talk about. I've been banging on about this for years. Like, it's such an important and fundamental part of business. If you build a great product, if you can improve your service, if you can improve your delivery times, whatever it is that you do, that's what you've got to focus on. Don't worry about buying new businesses. Don't worry about bolting on new services, growing. Like, just build a great product or service and people will talk about it. So I'll put the link to that Atlassian article in the more section below. So I want to share with you today a tool that I started using back in 2007 when I was in the Entrepreneurs Organisation, and we used it through our forum, a forum being a group of 6 to 10 entrepreneurs to help to set our personal goals. So I want to share that with you now. I've used it with clients, but I think it's a great tool to give you an idea on where you want to go in the personal sense. It's called the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise tool. The intent is to have a longer term general goal and then to bring that back to actions that you need to take now around those 5 areas of healthy, wealthy, wise, happy, and great family. These 5 key areas. Because I think that if you missed out on one of those things, would you really, at a personal level, have the right kind of fulfillment? Would you be genuinely satisfied? Well, that's what I think. If you only had healthy, wealthy, wise, but you didn't have happiness or you didn't have a great family, whatever that family means, whatever context that takes for you, would you really be satisfied? So the intent, if we start with healthy being the first one, is to ask yourself, what is the long-term goal? What is the goal that you're trying to achieve over your whole life? Now, for most people, when I've done it, as an example, it would be to live a long life free of disease and to be active, something around that. Next, we would say, so what are the actions that you must do in order to achieve that, to live a long and healthy life where you're free of disease and you're active? Well, you'd have to eat well, you'd have to exercise well, and you'd have to avoid general risks to health. So, for example, excessive smoking or excessive car racing, those kind of risky things, wouldn't really be conducive to achieving that goal. So once you have that, then you can say, well, what are the measures around healthy? And then you might say, well, every year I'd need to have a doctor's checkup. I'd need to have my cholesterol checked or my BMI checked, a general overall health checkup. So once you have those measures, that's when you can bring it back and you can say, okay, so what are my 5-year goals? What are my 3 or 1 year goals? And what do I have to do in the next 3 months? So you might not be able, for example, in healthy, to run a marathon if that's one of the things you want to do in 5 years at the moment, but you might be able to run 2Ks or 5Ks. So you might need to build that up over time. So let's take a look at what this looks like for the healthy side. So what we've got for healthy, your goal, which is, again, how you want to live in the long term, is to live a long, to live a long, active life and avoid disease. Now, this is a sample. This might not be for you, but this is just to give you an idea. Next is the actions. So what are the actions that you need to take to sustain that long-term goal over your whole life? So that is to eat well, to exercise, and to avoid general risk. Again, this is hypothetical. The measures, so how do we measure that we're successful in those actions in achieving this long-term goal over our whole life? So that is doctor's checkups on a regular basis, and I don't mean just popping in because you've got a problem. I mean going in for a full 100,000 kilometre type checkup, the BMI and blood pressure for this example. So in 5 years, having heart rate under 60, marathon, being able to run a marathon, 100 push-ups, that's the goal. In 1 year, having a full checkup, being able to run 5 kilometres and having 1 month without alcohol. And then in 3 months, a 2 kilometre run, 30 push-ups, and going to the doctors for a base checkup. So that's an example of the healthy, wealthy and wise in the healthy section. So let's take a look at wealthy. Now, wealthy doesn't mean that you need to be rich, but it means what is sustainable for you. What is a sustainable position that you want to get to in the future? The difference between where you are now and where you need to be and where you want to be. So if we don't consider wealthy and we just had healthy and wise and happy and great family, like the wealthy is going to take over everything. If you're completely broke, you're going to have some serious problems. So that's why we have a consideration of wealthy. So again, healthy, wealthy, wise, happy, great family. So when we look at wealthy, what we're really saying is what needs to be the difference between where you are now and where you want or need to be, and where do you want to be in the long term? What is your long-term ambition around that? And it could be some savings, it could be some passive income, it could be some rental properties, I don't know, or shares, or whatever it is. But if we begin at the beginning with, funnily enough, with what is the overall goal, and that might be something like you want to have enough income to live without a job, or it could be that you might want to have your house paid off and to be able to retire in the same kind of lifestyle, something around that. So if you consider what is the long-term or overall goal, then what are the actions that you need to take on an ongoing basis? So that might mean that you can't have, as my friend Brett puts it, a lazy balance sheet. You might need to ensure that any of the equity that you've got in your house or any business or whatever it is always working for you, that your debt doesn't get out of control and you can always service it. So how do you measure that? Clearly it would be around the cash or the income or your balance sheet, something of that kind of nature. So then we bring that down to what are your 5-year goals, maybe your 1-year goals and your 3-month goals. So 5-year, if your long-term goal is to, I don't know, to have a house that you own with no debt, or to have business that you've sold, or whatever it might be, that gives you the kind of income and cash to be able to survive and live the type of life that you want. If you bring that into 5 years, maybe you would say that you've paid off half your house, or maybe you would say that you've got $1,000 a week in passive income or something like that. And then you bring that back to 1 year, and then you say, well, what do I need to do? Maybe you need to invest in an investment property, or maybe you need to top up your super, or whatever kind of things they are. So let me just flag, this is not financial advice. I'm not an advisor for the legal eagles out there. I'm just trying to help you to try to figure out where do you want to go and what are the key elements that you need to consider. So then we come back to 1 year. So what is the 1 year goals? So in 1 year, what do you need to do? And then 3 months. So do you need to start saving? Do you need to investigate products? Do you need to see a financial advisor? So next we look at whys, and why is whys important? So if you're healthy, you're wealthy, you're happy, and you've got a great family, but you aren't increasing your wisdom. Let's say you left school at year 12 and you went to uni and you never learned anything for the rest of your life, and you never proactively learned anything. Does that make for a satisfactory life? Wisdom is a key part, and the growth of wisdom and the growth of your knowledge over your life in a sustainable manner is a key part of having a whole and satisfactory life. Wise is not just educational, university or college type learning. It's also not just about reading books. Wise is a more holistic approach. So it could be that you need to travel to 6 continents. You could travel to a number of countries. You could learn a language. It could be that you actually do set out a number of books to read, or you take a certain course in, I don't know, cooking or whatever it might be. But the point is a conscious approach to learning over a long period of time. And so just like the other areas of healthy and wealthy, we set an overall goal to perhaps increase wisdom or to have an ongoing attitude towards knowledge and its growth. And then we're able to bring that back to the actions that need to be taken and the measures around that. So that could be, again, the number of courses, or it could be the number of books, or it could be the number of adventures, or whatever it might be. And next we will look at the 5-year goals, then the 1-year goals, and then the 3-month goals, because of course the 3-month goals set you up for the 1 and the 5-year many times. As I mentioned, I started doing Healthy, Wealthy and Wise in the Entrepreneurs Organization, And at the beginning, it was just healthy, wealthy, wise. But it felt like, after we'd done it for a while, it felt like there was something missing. And that's when we added on the happy and great family. So if you are healthy, your health is good, and you're living a long time free of disease, you're wealthy, you've got enough, you don't need to worry about money, like it suits the type of life that you want to lead, and you're wise, well, what if you're unhappy? What if you're desperately miserable? And what if your family don't talk to you, or however you perceive a family to be? So that's why when we really thought about it, we added on happy and great family. So it's healthy, wealthy, wise, happy, great family. So let us talk about happy. So what does happiness mean? Can you predict, what do I want happiness to mean in my life? And what can I do in 5 years, a year and 3 months to help me to be a more happy person? And what are the actions and what are the measures? For example, you might want to help a not-for-profit in the future. You might want to challenge yourself to a ski trip, or you might want to reward yourself in some kind of manner. You might want to help your church if you're involved in church, or whatever it might be. The point is, what is it that makes you happy, and how can you have smaller goals in 3 months and broader goals in the long term that you can look forward and work towards? Finally, let's consider great family. Imagine, if you will, that you were healthy, you were wealthy, you were wise, and you were happy, but your family hated your guts. It would be a bit of a problem, and I doubt that it would give you the complete life that you might be looking for. In particular, I think of one very successful Western Australian business person who is always in court with their family. What does great family look like to you? What is the long-term goal? It could be something like the family is a cathedral. Of course, family doesn't need to be just your partner or your parents or your children. It's whatever is relevant to you. It is those personal and intimate relationships that matter the most. And what are you going to do in the long term to foster those and to grow those and to strengthen those, rather than perhaps letting them just die on the vine? In the long term, it could be something like that the family has trusted relationships, that the family is a cathedral, or that the family relies on each other, something like that. However you would define great family. And then you can bring it back to the actions that you need to take. So it could be about gatherings, it could be about supporting people, interactions, and maybe coaching, something like that. Then you would bring it back to your 5 year and your 1 year and your 3 month, as we have done with the other goals. So maybe you're going to have a holiday with your family, or maybe you're going to have certain regular annual get-togethers. Whatever will help.